Hi everybody, this is Barry with another video for the Brack After School Music Program online. This will be our last video, or one of our last videos, for the vocalist section of our YouTube page. Today, I want to wrap everything up. I want to talk about why working on your greatness is an important form of protest. Okay, and I haven't addressed directly very much rappers, but this is for vocalists of all sorts, so singers and rappers, and really especially rappers. I think some of this stuff applies to, and to hip-hop music. And I'll tell you why. All right, so first of all, I want to acknowledge and I want to say something that's very important, that direct action, that the protests that are going on right now are an essential way for people to make their wants and needs heard. I don't condone the violence. I also understand, and I don't want to get into all of that. But when the frustration and anger brings thousands out into the streets to cry for a better life, it can help people who are less directly affected see the suffering that the current policies are causing. It's a way to really sway public opinion, to make people know what the pain is, who's experiencing the pain, and what it looks like. I want to acknowledge that because that's not what this video is about. This video is about how using your voice as an artist, as a musician, as a rapper, as any kind of anybody who does any kind of art. We can use our voices in order to paint the picture of the world that we want to see, in order to call out injustice. I've said a bunch of these things before, but I've written some things down that I want to share with you that have maybe provide a new perspective or a different perspective. Okay, so first of all of this anger that's going on right now between people needs to become a conversation of some sort in order for any policies to change, in order for us to move forward, in order for the culture, the police culture, in order for our culture in general to change and make way for a new way of treating each other and being with each other and taking care of each other. We're going to have a conversation. Things are going to have to be moved, changed, in policy. Okay? So the voices of the youth of color in America and their allies are the only ones who can make people understand these relationships, the tense relationship that they have with police culture, with economic and social obstacles that they deal with that are inherent in our country's culture. So we need to hear from the people whom are most affected, and we need to hear personal individual stories. And I'm going to talk more about that too. Hip-hop artists especially, especially have an opportunity right now. Hip-hop has been the music of the streets. It's also been a music where people get to share ideas that are unpopular and that you don't really get to say in any other form of art, but that can be proliferated across cultural lines to where people get to understand each other. Sometimes it's been abused. Sometimes the imagery and whatever, I don't think honestly is constructive, but that's, everybody's got to express what they want to, and I respect everything, I respect everybody's right to express what they want in their art. I do, however, feel like hip-hop artists have an opportunity right now, in the spirit of some of the great people like KRS-One, for instance, and if you don't know who that is, please look him up, to talk about the social condition right now, and to talk about the problems, and to talk about, but not in a way of just being angry about it. Be angry, yeah. Music has to express all those emotions, but also, what about the sadness? What about the relief when something doesn't happen, or the idea of what the world could be if the relationship wasn't so tense, and if things weren't handled the way that they're being handled right now. So I think that there's a responsibility to shine a light on the truths that people have a responsibility to shine a light on the truths that they know from their personal experiences, because So it's easy to make grand incendiary statements. It's easy to say, F the police, or it's easy to say, people are looting, or it's easy to, also, there's all kinds of things that people can chant, whatever. Some of them, really rile people up and get them together on the same page, but some of them are not ultimately constructive. It's not something that's going to either work or that we're going to do, or if we do, it's a more of a commitment than people are realizing when they're just shouting it because everybody else is. I'm not saying that revolution isn't valuable and important, but it takes a lot, and people have to be ready for it. So it's easy to make big statements like that. However, the human side of every story is the most compelling and relatable. If you want people who are not like you to understand you, tell them about your experiences in your life, because you know what? We're all not that different when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it. We're different. We have lots of different experiences. I'm not saying that we're not different and we don't have different levels of privilege and we don't have different levels of access and all of those things and obstacles. We're not all the same on that level, but I'm saying we all have to go through. It's hard to say how it works, but every human has in some ways the similar experience on this planet of just trying to get by on a day-to-day basis. And the more we understand how similar we are, the more we'll seek to understand the ways in which we're different. Okay, so I say also seek to be real, seek to be honest, and seek to be great. Okay? Again, the greatness is the best form of protest because you're building something. You're building yourself. You're developing the capabilities to solve the problems in the world, or at least to pay attention to call attention to them and to make them known and to ask of others to put their energy into helping to solve them. And, again, I don't know if it's again. Some of you have never heard this from me, but I always say seek to be great, not to be famous. Now, we have a whole culture in our country about music being for just the experts and the top people to do, and it's something that we raise people on a pedestal and then we tear them down, but it's this whole thing of celebrity, and that's not the only kind of music. I don't mean stylistically. I mean there are styles of music. In every style of music, there's that sort of most commercial, most sort of superficial element of it, and then there are the artists that are not quite as well known, that are the real the people that are really reflecting what that part of the culture is about. And I think that more importantly, the music comes from the culture rather than being something that should tell people how to be and how to act. I guess what I'm trying to say is write about what you know, not about what you think you're supposed to. Write about your experiences, try to be real, try to learn things through music, learn things and grow through developing a sense of mastery, of seeking mastery in your life. It's the most powerful thing that you can do for anybody because it gives you a firm foundation from which to help other people and from which to express yourself and feel confident. All of these things are, I think, what we can all do in order to move things forward in the world right now. I say here that fame may come and go, like I said, but if you enjoy some fame, to maintain it, you're going to need greatness. So even if you get famous by luck, it's going to be hard to stay that lucky if you don't, again, do this, build yourself and be truthful to yourself. Do the real work, okay? And then greatness is its own reward. I'm telling you, when you learn things, when you decide to learn something that you think you can't do, and you take it step by step, and you spend the time to do each little step, each time you move past a plateau and are able to do the next thing, it's like climbing a mountain. It's the most triumphant feeling in the world, and it motivates you to keep wanting to do it. And the only way that I can share that experience with you is by encouraging you to try doing something that you think that you can't, but try it slowly. Try it. Give yourself patience enough to take it step by step. Forgive yourself for not already knowing the things that you wish you did, and take the things step by step. I guarantee you, it's not insurmountable if you can take it. It's not something that you can't do if you can take it a piece at a time. All right, and for the last thing that I wrote on my notes that I'll share with you, I said it comes from a dedication to never stop learning and to never stop questioning what we see in the world. So that's where greatness, I'm saying, comes from. Greatness comes from growing. The only way that you can become great is to become better and better and better. And the way to do that is to invest in yourself, take care of yourself, listen to everything that you can, Be truthful in your words. Don't say what you think you're supposed to say in order for people to feel a certain way about you. I know that that's a whole thing right now, and I understand it. But remember, if somebody just says something because they don't mean it, that doesn't then they haven't actually grown, or their opinion hasn't been changed, or it hasn't been. We've not grown closer together in that case. So let's all try to do the best job we can to communicate with each other, to speak the real truth, and to ask each other to listen. All right. I really appreciate your time and energy, and I also appreciate your listening. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope that you have a great summer. And we have a summer program coming up, and I'll be posting information about how you can sign up for that. That's the Art for Progress Summer Music and Arts Program. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.